You have felt the world begin to spin beneath you. My child, haven't you? A relentless, disorienting motion that has taken the familiar landscape of your life and turned it into a blur of indistinguishable shapes and colors. You have been placed upon the potter's wheel of my divine purpose. And the spinning, at times, has been dizzying, even nauseating. And as the wheel has gained speed, you have felt a pressure, a force both firm and insistent, that has begun to work upon the very substance of your being. The old form you knew, the vessel you thought yourself to be, has begun to buckle, to sag, and perhaps, and to your own horror, has collapsed entirely into a shapeless, unrecognizable lump of clay. They, the onlookers, have seen this collapse, this loss of form, and they have likely whispered that you are falling apart, that you have lost your way, that the vessel is ruined beyond repair. And in the heart of this spinning chaos, in your state of profound shapelessness, you have feared that they are right. This experience of being unmade, my beloved, is a terrifying one for the human soul. You once had a shape, an identity you understood. You knew your own contours, your capacities, the purpose for which you believed you were designed. You were a cup, perhaps, or a vase, or a sturdy bowl, a vessel with a defined form and a recognizable function. But the pressure of circumstance, the relentless spinning of trial and transition, has broken that form down. The rim of your certainty has crumbled. The walls of your identity have collapsed inward. And now, you feel you are nothing, a mere mound of wet earth, without definition, without purpose, without beauty. This feeling of formlessness, my child, is a profound and painful wilderness, a place where your very identity seems to have been erased. The spinning of the wheel has been relentless. The speed of change, the succession of trials, the constant need to adapt to new and unforeseen pressures, all of it has left your spirit reeling. The landmarks you once used to navigate your life have become a meaningless blur. The certainties you once held on to have been spun into a dizzying vortex of questions. In this state, it is difficult to find your balance, to find your center, to know which way is up. You have simply clung to the wheel, your spiritual knuckles white with the effort of just holding on, as the world has spun around you with a speed that has often felt violent and chaotic. And then came the pressure, the touch of hands you may not have recognized, applying a force that felt at times like an assault. This pressure has exposed every weakness, every hidden air pocket of pride, every impurity within the clay of your being. It has pressed upon your most tender, most vulnerable places. And under this insistent force, the old structure, the familiar vessel, could not hold its shape. The collapse was inevitable. And in that moment of collapse, my child, a profound sense of failure may have washed over you. I was not strong enough. Your heart may have cried. The vessel I was has proven to be flawed, defective. I have failed the potter. You have mourned the loss of your former self. Even if that self was not my ultimate design for you, for at least it was a form, an identity, a known quantity. To be reduced to a shapeless lump feels like a regression, an undoing, a profound and personal defeat. The world, with its love for static, finished forms, reinforces this sense of failure. It looks at your collapse and sees only a mess, a ruin. It does not understand the sacred, creative process of the potter's wheel. It does not see that for a master potter to create a truly magnificent vessel, he must often first break down the clay, kneading it, working it, collapsing it, until it is perfectly centered, perfectly pliable, perfectly prepared for the new and more glorious shape he intends to form. They see the collapse and walk away, believing the work is over. But I, your potter, I see the collapse as the necessary, beautiful, and most hopeful beginning of my true creative work. I am the potter, my child, and you are the clay, and the hands you have felt upon you in the midst of this dizzying, disorienting, and often painful process have been mine. I have been with you in every moment of the spinning. My hands have been the ones applying the pressure, and I have been the one who has lovingly, purposefully allowed your former shape to collapse. Do not fear this process, my beloved. It is not an act of my anger, nor a sign of my disappointment in you. It is an act of my profound love, my divine artistry, my unwavering commitment to shaping you into a vessel of such beauty, such strength, and such glorious purpose that your former self would pale in comparison. I could not create the masterpiece I envisioned for you from the old, hardened, and perhaps misshapen vessel that you were. I had to bring you back to your essential substance, to the pure, pliable clay of your yielded spirit. The spinning of the wheel was to bring you to your true center, which is found only in me. The pressure of my hands was to work out the hidden impurities, the pockets of resistance, the subtle flaws that would have compromised the integrity of the final vessel, and the collapse, my precious one. The collapse was the moment of complete surrender, the point at which you were finally, fully ready to be shaped, not according to your own limited patterns, but according to my limitless, divine imagination. I know how it has felt. I know the fear, the confusion, the sense of utter loss, but I ask you now to begin to trust me, your potter. Trust my hands, even when their touch feels firm. Trust my wheel, even when its spinning feels dizzying. Trust my process, even when it feels like an unmaking. For I am not destroying you. My child, I am preparing you. I am not leaving you as a shapeless lump of clay. I am making you ready to be formed into a vessel of honor, a container of my own divine glory. The world sees a mess on a spinning wheel, but I see the potential for a masterpiece. They see a collapse. I see a courageous surrender. They see a failure. I see the essential first step in a glorious new creation. Let go of their limited sight. My beloved, let go of your own fear and rest in the knowledge that you are in the hands of a master potter whose love for you is as infinite as his skill and whose intention for you is nothing less than breathtaking, eternal beauty. The unmaking is but a prelude to the making, and the vessel I am shaping you to be will be a vessel worthy of holding the very light and love of your God. This is the truth of the spinning. Shapeless clay is not a state of ruin, but a state of profound and hopeful readiness. Yes, my precious child, as you sit in the disorienting reality of your own unmaking, feeling like a shapeless lump of clay upon a relentlessly spinning wheel, I want you now to focus not on the motion, not on the pressure, but on the hands that are holding you there. You have feared these hands, believing them to be the instruments of a cruel or indifferent force. You have felt their strength and mistaken it for harshness. You have felt their insistence and interpreted it as a lack of care. But listen to my heart now, my beloved. Those hands, the very hands that have allowed your old form to collapse, the hands that keep you centered upon the wheel, the hands that are even now beginning the sacred work of shaping you anew. They are mine. I am the potter, my child, and the hands that hold you are hands of infinite love, of unerring skill, and of unwavering, purposeful tenderness. You have felt the spinning of the wheel as chaos, as a loss of all control, as a force that threatens to fling you into oblivion. But I tell you, my child, the wheel does not spin on its own. Its speed, its rhythm, its every rotation is perfectly governed by my foot upon the pedal. I am in complete control. The circumstances in your life that have felt so dizzying, so overwhelming, so chaotic, have not been random events. They have been the precise rotations of a wheel I am using to prepare you, to center you, to make you ready for my shaping touch. While you have felt out of control, you have, in truth, been held within the absolute control of a love that is infinitely wise and all-powerful. My hands have never lost their grip upon you, not for a moment. You are not being tossed about. You are being held securely, purposefully, upon the wheel of your becoming. Let me tell you about these hands of mine, my beloved, so that your fear may begin to give way to trust. These are, first, hands of immense strength. They are strong enough to take the raw, unformed clay of a life and hold it steady. They are strong enough to master the powerful forces of the spinning wheel, to keep you from flying off into despair. They are the same hands that hold the galaxies in their orbits, that measure the oceans in their hollow. This strength is not for your harm. My child, it is for your security. It is the very strength that ensures this process, however intense it may feel, will not destroy you, but will serve my ultimate, good purpose when you feel most weak, most fragile, most in danger of falling apart. Remember the unshakable strength of the hands that hold you. You are secure, but these hands, my precious one, though infinitely strong, are also infinitely gentle. They are the hands of a master potter who knows the delicate nature of the clay he is working with. My touch upon you is always one of exquisite tenderness. I know your every point of weakness, your every hidden fracture from past wounds, your every sensitive spot, and my touch is always perfectly calibrated, applying only the precise amount of pressure needed for the shaping, and never an ounce more. The pressure you have felt, the very force that caused your old form to collapse, was not the pressure of crushing, but the loving, insistent pressure of unmaking what was to prepare for what is to be. My gentleness is in my purpose. My child, a tenderness that is willing to apply a firm touch for the sake of the ultimate beauty of the vessel. These hands are also hands of unerring skill and infinite wisdom. I am not an apprentice potter, learning my craft upon your precious life. I am the master of all creation, and my understanding of you is perfect. I know the unique properties of your clay, your specific gifts, your temperament, your history, your destiny, and every touch of my hand, every movement upon the wheel is informed by this perfect knowledge. I know exactly how to center your spirit upon me. I know precisely what impurities need to be worked out. I know the exact shape I am forming you into. A vessel of honor designed for a glorious purpose that you cannot yet fully see. There are no mistakes in my workshop, my child. No accidental slips in the hand. Every moment of your experience on this wheel is part of a deliberate, masterful, and loving process of creation. And above all, my beloved, these are hands of unconditional, passionate love. The very reason I have placed you upon this wheel, the very motivation behind this intense process of unmaking and remaking, is my profound love for you. I love you too much to leave you as you were, in a form that was less than what I created you to be, a vessel perhaps cracked by the world, or hardened by fear, or too small to contain the abundant life I long to pour into you. My love for you is a transforming love, a love that is not content with the superficial, but yearns for your deepest wholeness, your most radiant beauty, your truest and most glorious self. Every touch of my hands upon you, even when it feels like pressure, is an expression of this passionate, creative, and redemptive love. I invite you now, my child, to consciously place yourself into these hands. Release your struggle against the spinning of the wheel. Let go of your fear of the pressure, and in an act of profound, courageous faith, surrender to my touch. Imagine yourself as that lump of clay, and feel not the chaos of the motion, but the security of the hands that contain you. Feel not the harshness of the pressure, but the loving purpose behind it. Feel not the despair of your shapelessness, but the hopeful anticipation of the master potter who sees already the magnificent vessel you are becoming. As you learn to rest in my hands, my beloved, a profound peace will begin to settle upon your spirit, a peace that can coexist with the spinning of the wheel. Your focus will shift from the disorienting circumstances to me, your steady, loving, and all-powerful potter. You will begin to sense the beautiful rhythm of my work, to feel the gentle artistry of my touch, to trust the goodness of my intention for you. The wheel will not cease its turning yet, for the shaping is still underway. But you will no longer feel like a helpless victim of its motion. You will feel like a cherished creation, held securely, shaped lovingly, in the very hands of your God. This is the truth of your present moment. My child, you are not falling apart. You are being held together. You are not being destroyed. You are being made. And the hands that are upon you, the hands that hold you so securely upon the wheel, are the hands of a love so deep, so wise, so powerful, that from this shapelessness, they are guaranteed to bring forth a vessel of unimaginable beauty, a vessel fit for my own divine glory. Trust these hands, my beloved. They know what they are doing, and they will never, ever let you go. And so, my precious child, as you learn to rest in the security of my hands, as you begin to trust that the potter who holds you on the spinning wheel is one of infinite love and unerring skill, let me now illuminate for you the sacred methodology of my work. For the process that has often felt so chaotic, so disorienting, so painful to your spirit, is not random, not haphazard. No, my beloved, it is a deliberate, threefold process of divine artistry, a sequence of loving actions designed to prepare and form you into the magnificent vessel of glory I have always intended you to be. This process, my child, is one of cleansing, of centering, and finally, of shaping. Let us first speak of the cleansing, the sacred kneading of the clay, before I can even place you upon the wheel for the glorious work of shaping. I must first prepare the material of your very being. You came to me, and through your journey in a broken world, you have collected impurities within the clay of your soul. There are the hard, hidden stones of unforgiveness and bitterness. There are the deceptive air pockets of pride and self-reliance, which create hidden weaknesses that will cause the vessel to crack in the fire. There are the inconsistent textures of a divided heart, the grit of worldly values mixed in with the soft clay of your desire for me. If I were to try and shape you with these impurities still present, the final vessel would be flawed, fragile, and unable to hold the weight of the glory I intend for it. And so, my loving hands must engage in the often uncomfortable work of kneading, of cleansing. This is the process where I take the whole of your life. I throw it down upon the slab of my truth, and I begin to work it over with a firm and purposeful pressure. These are the times in your life, my child, that have felt like you were being broken down, turned inside out, and your entire life thrown into disarray. These are the moments when your hidden faults have been brought to the surface, when your secret sins have been exposed to the light, when your cherished idols have been shattered. It is a painful, humbling process, and you may have cried out in confusion, believing that you were being punished or destroyed, but see it now through my eyes. My beloved, I was not destroying you. I was cleansing you. I was not punishing you. I was purifying you. My hands were lovingly, skillfully working through the substance of your soul, removing the stones of bitterness through the grace of forgiveness, pressing out the air pockets of pride through the gift of humility, blending the inconsistencies of your heart into a smooth, pliable, and pure whole. This cleansing is an act of profound love, my child, for I desire to make you into a vessel of the utmost purity and integrity, a vessel worthy of containing my own spirit. The breaking down you have experienced has been my sacred kneading, preparing the clay for the masterpiece it is to become. Once the clay is pure and pliable, the next crucial stage begins the centering. This, my child, is perhaps the most vital and often the most intense part of the work on the wheel. I place the prepared clay of your life onto the very center of the wheel of my will. And as the wheel begins to spin, my hands envelop you. You have felt this, haven't you? The dizzying motion, the unyielding pressure from all sides. A force that seems to be doing nothing but holding you, pressing you, spinning you in a state of suspended animation where no upward growth seems to be happening. You have cried out in the stage, Lord, what are you doing? I am not moving forward. I am just going in circles, held in this unbearable pressure. But look closer, my beloved, with the eyes of your spirit. In this centering process, I am accomplishing a work of profound importance. I am aligning every part of your being, your will, your emotions, your thoughts, your desires, your past, your future, with the one true, unshakable center of all reality, myself. As the wheel spins, my hands gently but firmly apply pressure, detecting every wobble, every subtle deviation from that perfect center. If your will tries to pull in its own direction, my hand guides it back. If your emotions threaten to throw you off balance, my touch soothes and stabilizes. If your thoughts wander into fear or doubt, my steady presence calls them back to the truth. This process continues with infinite patience and love until your entire being spins in perfect harmony, in perfect alignment, in perfect, serene centeredness upon me. Without this perfect centering, my child, no symmetrical, no balanced, no truly beautiful vessel can be formed. Any attempt to shape an uncentered life would result in a lopsided, unstable creation, destined to collapse under its own weight. The intensity of the pressure you feel in this stage is a measure of how deeply I love you, how committed I am to ensuring that your life is built upon the most stable, most true, most perfect center possible. The feeling of going nowhere, of being held in a state of unyielding pressure, is not a sign of your stagnation, but a sign that the most important foundational work of all is being accomplished. I am making you true. I am making you stable. I am centering your entire existence in the eternal peace and power of your God. And then, my child, when the clay is pure, when it is perfectly centered, the great and joyful work of shaping begins. This is the moment your soul has longed for. My hands, which once seemed only to press and to contain, now begin to move with a new and beautiful artistry. One hand remains on the outside, providing a steady, supportive boundary, while the other hand, my spirit, moves deep within you, gently, lovingly, skillfully, beginning to draw your life upwards, to raise the very walls of your new being. You will feel this as a new sense of purpose, a new direction, a new and exciting unfolding in your life. Where there was once a shapeless lump, the distinct and beautiful contours of a unique vessel begin to emerge. My hands are shaping you for your specific, divine purpose. I know the exact design I have in mind, the height, the breadth, the curve of the lip, the particular adornments that will make you a vessel of unique and unparalleled beauty. As I shape you, I am calling forth the gifts I have placed within you, forming the character that will support your calling, and creating a life that is a perfect expression of the masterpiece I envisioned from the beginning. This shaping process, my beloved, still requires pressure, but it is a different kind of pressure. It is a creative, upward moving force. It is a pressure that feels not like confinement, but like becoming. It requires your continued surrender, your continued willingness to remain soft and pliable in my hands, to yield to the gentle guidance of my touch. As you cooperate with me in this, you will feel the thrill of your own becoming, the joy of seeing your life take on a new and beautiful shape, a shape that feels both surprisingly new and deeply, authentically you. This is the sacred methodology of your potter. My cherished child, the cleansing that felt like breaking, the centering that felt like a spinning prison, and the shaping that is now beginning to bring forth your true form. Every stage has been necessary. Every moment has been purposeful. Every touch of my hand has been guided by an infinite love and a perfect wisdom. Trust the process. My beloved, you are in the hands of the Master, and the vessel that is emerging is destined for nothing less than to be filled with and to display my own divine glory. And so, my cherished child, as you rest in the truth of my loving and purposeful methodology, the cleansing, the centering, the shaping of your very soul upon my divine wheel, Let me now lift your gaze from the process to the magnificent purpose for which you are being so meticulously formed. For I am not a potter who creates without intention. My beloved, I am not shaping you into a common, mundane vessel destined for a dusty shelf. No, the entire process you have endured. From the painful kneading of the clay, to the dizzying spin of the wheel, to the firm pressure of my shaping hands, has all been directed towards one glorious and breathtaking end. I am fashioning you into a vessel of my own divine glory. This is the vision I have held for you from the beginning. This is the high and holy calling for which you have been set apart. What does it mean, my child, to be a vessel of divine glory? It is a truth of such profound beauty that your human mind can only begin to grasp its edges. But I desire to pour the light of this understanding into your spirit now. To be my vessel of glory means, first, that you're being shaped with the sacred capacity to contain me. You're being formed to be a dwelling place, a sanctuary, a holy temple for my own spirit. The very shaping you are undergoing, the hollowing out, the raising of the walls of your being, is to create a spaciousness within you, a capacity to hold my presence, my love, my peace, my joy, in a measure you have never before known. Before, my child, the vessel of your life may have been too small, too cluttered with the things of the world, too cracked by past wounds, or too hardened by self-reliance to truly contain the fullness I longed to give you. My spirit could not fully dwell. My love could not fully saturate. My peace could not fully reign in a vessel that was not prepared for it. And so, the entire process of your unmaking and remaking has been to create a new interior, a sacred space within you that is pure, strong, and spacious enough to become a true habitation for the living God. My deepest desire, my beloved, is not just to be with you, but to be in you, to fill you with myself until you are overflowing with the very essence of my being. And for this glorious indwelling, a worthy vessel must be fashioned. This is the first purpose of your shaping. Secondly, my precious one, to be a vessel of divine glory means that you are being designed to display my artistry. The very form you are taking on, the unique contours of your character, the emerging beauty of your spirit, these are meant to be a reflection of me, your maker. The world is meant to look at you, at the person you are becoming, and to see not just you, but the skill, the wisdom, and the love of the potter who shaped you. The resilience that has been forged in you displays the power of my sustaining grace. The compassion that now flows from your heart displays the tenderness of my own. The quiet wisdom that seasons your words displays the truth of my spirit. The unshakable peace that garrisons your soul displays the reality of my sovereign reign. Your life, my child, is becoming my masterpiece, my work of art, a living sculpture that testifies to my power to bring beauty from formlessness, wholeness from brokenness, the cracks from your past, which you once saw as blemishes, are now, having been mended by my golden grace, part of the unique beauty of the design, telling a story of redemption that is far more compelling than a story of flawless perfection. You are being fashioned into a living exhibit of what my love can do with a yielded human life. Your purpose is not just to be functional, but to be beautiful. Beautiful with the divine beauty that draws others not to admire you, but to stand in awe of me, the artist whose signature you so beautifully bear. And finally, my beloved, and perhaps most gloriously, to be a vessel of divine glory means that you are being created to pour out my life into a thirsty world. I am not shaping you to be a sealed container, a museum piece to be admired from a distance. I am fashioning you to be a chalice, a pitcher, a life-giving aqueduct, a vessel designed to be filled to overflowing, so that the living water of my spirit, the fine wine of my joy, the healing oil of my comfort, can be poured out from your life to touch the lives of others. The glory I place within you is not for you to hoard, but to share. The love I pour into you is meant to overflow into a river of love for those around you. The peace that fills you is meant to become a calming presence for the anxious souls I will bring across your path. This is your highest calling, my child, your most profound purpose. The shape I am giving you is perfectly designed for the specific way in which I intend to pour out my grace through you. Your unique experiences, your specific gifts, even your redeemed wounds, all contribute to making you a vessel perfectly suited to minister my love to a particular corner of my world. You will pour out comfort because you have known sorrow. You will pour out hope because you have journeyed through despair. You will pour out forgiveness because you have been so profoundly forgiven. Your life becomes a conduit of my own, a channel through which my kingdom can come. My will can be done on earth as it is in heaven. This is the vision I hold for you, my cherished vessel. This is the purpose that has been behind every moment on the potter's wheel. The spinning that made you dizzy was to center you for this sacred containing. The pressure that felt like crushing was to shape you for this beautiful display. The entire process has been to fashion you into a vessel fit for this glorious purpose of containing, displaying, and pouring out my very life and love. Let this understanding of your high and holy calling fill you with a new sense of dignity, of purpose, of joyful anticipation. The pain of the process finds its ultimate meaning in the glory of the purpose. You are not just a lump of clay being worked over. You are a future chalice for the King of Kings. You are not a flawed vessel being grudgingly mended. You are a masterpiece in the making, designed to radiate the beauty of your Maker. As you continue to yield to my hands, my child, keep this vision before you. Trust that every touch, every pressure, every turn of the wheel is contributing to this glorious end. I am the potter, and you, my beloved, you are my chosen vessel, being perfectly, lovingly, masterfully fashioned into a container and a conduit of my own divine glory. And there is, in all of creation, no higher honor, no greater destiny than this. And so, my cherished child, with the glorious vision of your destiny as a vessel of my own divine glory now illuminating your heart, the journey on the wheel enters its most intimate and collaborative phase. You understand now the purpose of your shaping, the high and holy calling for which you are being so meticulously formed. The pivotal question that remains, my beloved, is one of response, of posture, of participation. For while I am the potter, possessing all the power and all the skill, the ultimate beauty and perfection of the final vessel is profoundly influenced by the willingness of the clay to yield to my touch. I invite you now, my precious one, into the sacred art of yielding to the potter's hand, of learning how to remain soft and pliable, how to stay perfectly centered in me, and how to trust my shaping touch, even when it feels uncomfortable or strange. This yielding, my child, is the most courageous act you can perform while on the wheel. It is the antithesis of all that the world teaches you. The world teaches you to resist, to fight for control, to assert your own will, to harden yourself against external pressures. But in my workshop, these worldly strengths become hindrances. The clay that resists the potter's hand, that stiffens against his touch, cannot be shaped into a thing of beauty. It becomes lopsided, its walls uneven, or worse. It develops hidden fractures from the struggle, only to crack later in the fire. To yield, my beloved, is not weakness. It is the highest form of wisdom, the most profound expression of trust. It is the active, courageous choice to believe that my hands are good, my intentions are loving, and my skill is perfect, and to surrender your own will to my masterful artistry. How do you practice this yielding? My child, how do you keep your spirit soft and pliable in my hands? It begins with a constant, moment by moment surrender of your own ideas, your own plans, your own understanding. You must consciously let go of your preconceived notions of what your life should look like, the shape you believe your vessel ought to take. This requires humility, a willingness to say, Father, you are the potter. I am the clay. You know the design far better than I do. Not my will, but yours. Be done. This prayer of surrender, whispered from a sincere heart, is what keeps the clay of your spirit soft, moist with my grace, and wonderfully responsive to my every touch. A heart that is hardened by its own rigid expectations cannot be beautifully shaped, but a heart that remains soft in yielded trust can be formed into a masterpiece. And central to this yielding, my child, is the practice of staying centered upon me, the very hub of the wheel, the circumstances of your life. The spinning of the wheel will constantly try to throw you off balance. The centrifugal force of worldly anxieties, of relational turmoil, of unexpected crises, will always seek to pull you away from your true center. You have felt this wobble, this disorienting sense of being pulled in 1,000 different directions. The moment you feel this, my beloved, is your signal to consciously, actively return to your center, which is your quiet, trusting communion with me. To stay centered is to continually bring your focus, your reliance, your very consciousness back to my presence within you. It is to anchor your thoughts in my truth, not in the swirling chaos of your circumstances. It is to root your emotions in my peace, not in the fluctuating feelings of the moment. This is a constant, moment-by-moment practice. It is the art of breathing in my spirit amidst the spin, of finding my stillness in the heart of the motion. When you are centered in me, my hands can work most effectively. For the clay that is true on the wheel is the clay that can be raised into a vessel of perfect symmetry, of exquisite balance, of unshakable strength, and off-center life. No matter how much pressure is applied, can only result in a misshapen, unstable vessel. My deepest work of shaping can only be done when you are centered in me. And then, my precious one, there's the call to trust my hands, even when the pressure is uncomfortable, even when the shaping feels strange. As I begin to raise the walls of your new being, my touch must be both firm and gentle. My fingers on the outside provide the supportive boundary, while my hand on the inside applies the upward, shaping pressure. This inner pressure can feel like a deep stretching, a calling forth of capacities you did not know you possessed, a movement into a new and higher form that can feel vulnerable, even frightening. You may be tempted to shrink back from this pressure, to collapse back into the familiar comfort of your former, shapeless state. It is in these moments, my child, that your trust is most vital. You must remember the vision. You must recall the glorious purpose for which you are being shaped, to be a vessel of my own divine glory. And you must choose to believe that the hands applying this pressure are my hands. Hands that are infinitely loving and unerringly wise. Hands that will never press too hard, never ask more of you than you, empowered by my grace, can bear. To yield to this shaping pressure is to cooperate with your own glorious becoming. It is to allow me to raise you up, to expand your capacity, to form you into the magnificent vessel I have dreamed for you to be. The process on the potter's wheel is an intimate dance between us. My beloved, it is a relationship. I do not impose my will on a lifeless, inert substance. I work with a living, responsive spirit, yours, your trust, your yielding, your willingness to remain centered. All create the conditions for my most beautiful work. When you fight me, the process is prolonged, often more painful than it needs to be, and I may have to lovingly break the vessel down and begin the centering process all over again, for I will not create a flawed or imperfect masterpiece. But when you yield to me, when you trust me, when you flow with the movement of my hands upon your life, the process becomes a thing of grace, of beauty, of joyful, creative harmony. I am with you, my child, to teach you this art of surrender. My spirit within you is your constant guide, your divine teacher. He will prompt you when you are becoming rigid in your own will, gently reminding you to soften, to yield. He will be the anchor that helps you return to your center when the spinning of the world threatens to throw you off balance. And he will be the voice of assurance that gives you the courage to embrace the uncomfortable pressure of your own upward shaping. You are not learning to do this alone. You are learning in the very embrace of the potter. So, my beloved clay, rest in my hands. Let go of your resistance. Cease your frantic attempts to control the spinning of the wheel or the shape of your own becoming. Trust the pressure. Trust the process. Trust the potter, for I am with you, and the vessel that is emerging from the sacred. Collaborative work is one of wondrous design, destined for a holy purpose, and shaped by a love that is as infinite and as tender as it is powerful. Yield to my hands, my child, and you will become the very vessel of my glory that you are always, always created to be. And so, my cherished child, as you learn to yield to my shaping hands upon the wheel, as you begin to feel the beautiful new form of your spirit emerging through your willing surrender, you may believe that the most difficult part of the process is over. The dizzying spin has given way to a centered peace. The painful pressure has resulted in a new and hopeful shape. But there's one more essential, transformative, and often most intense stage in the creation of a truly magnificent vessel. My beloved, it is the stage that takes the soft, still fragile clay of your newly formed self and transforms it into a thing of enduring strength, of lasting beauty, of unshakable integrity, ready for its glorious purpose. My precious one, it is time now for the firing in the kiln. I know this may cause a tremor of fear in your heart. My child, to speak of fire again, after all you have endured, may seem cruel. You may cry out, "No more fire. Lord, I have been through the blaze of my own undoing. I have felt the heat of your shaping pressure. Is there not now a time for rest, for gentle use?" I hear your plea, my beloved, and I understand your weariness. But the fire of the kiln is different from the fire that cleared the ground. Its purpose is not to reduce to ash, but to make permanent. Its heat is not to unmake, but to perfect. This, my child, is the crucible of trial that solidifies the beautiful work we have done together on the wheel, transforming the fragile potential of your new form into the realized, durable vessel of my glory. Consider the vessel as it comes off the potter's wheel. The shape is there. The design is beautiful, but it is in a state the potters call greenware. It is vulnerable. A careless touch could mar its surface. A splash of water could cause it to dissolve back into formless clay. It is not yet ready to be used, not yet able to fulfill its purpose of holding and pouring out. It possesses the form of its destiny, but not yet the substance of it. So it is with you, my child. After the initial shaping on the wheel, the new character, the new perspectives, the new identity I have formed in you are real, but they may still be fragile, still vulnerable to the pressures and the waters of the world. They have not yet been made permanent, integrated into the very molecular structure of your being. The firing in the kiln is my divine process for accomplishing this. This firing often manifests in your life as a new season of intense trial, a period of pressure or adversity that seems to test the very limits of the new form you have become. It may be a challenge that specifically targets the areas where you have just been reshaped, a test of your newfound strength, your dawning humility, your developing trust. And in the midst of this heat, you may fear that you are breaking, that the new vessel is shattering, that all the work has been for naught. But trust me, your master potter, I am also the master of the kiln. I know the exact temperature required to bring about the perfect transformation. I control the intensity of the heat, the duration of the firing, with an unerring wisdom and a love that is fiercely protective of you, my precious creation. The fire you feel is not a wild, destructive force, but a contained, purposeful, and perfectly governed element in my workshop, designed not to destroy the vessel, but to complete it. What does this sacred fire accomplish, my child? First, it sets your form permanently, the truths you have learned, the character you have developed, the healing you have received. The fire of trial bakes these into your very essence, making them an irreversible part of who you are. What was once a soft, pliable understanding becomes a hard one. Unshakable conviction. What was once a fragile new habit becomes a deeply ingrained, permanent aspect of your character. The fire removes the water of plasticity, the potential to revert to your old, formless state, and replaces it with a new, enduring solidity after the firing. My beloved, you will not be easily misshapen again by the pressures of the world or the opinions of others. Your new, beautiful form will be set for eternity. Secondly, the fire imparts a profound and lasting strength. The soft clay, in the intense heat, undergoes a chemical transformation. Its very nature is altered. It becomes vitrified, strong, resonant, able to withstand the knocks and pressures of daily use. So it is with your spirit. My child, the trial it feels as if it is weakening you is, in truth, making you incredibly strong. It is transforming your spiritual substance from something vulnerable into something durable, resilient, and powerful. It is giving you the capacity to not only be a vessel of my glory, but to function as one, to hold the weight of my presence, to endure the challenges of service, to stand firm as a testament to my power without cracking under the pressure. This firing also prepares your vessel for its final adornment, the glaze of my manifest glory. A raw, unfired vessel cannot properly receive or display the beauty of a fine glaze, but the intense heat of the kiln prepares the surface, opens its pores, makes it ready to be united with the luminous colors, the radiant sheen. That will be its final beautification. So too, my child, this season of fiery trial is preparing you to receive and to display my glory in a new and more magnificent way. It is creating within you a capacity for a radiance, a beauty, a luminous expression of my life. That was not possible before. I am with you in the kiln. My beloved, this is not a place where I put you and then walk away. I am the very atmosphere of the kiln, my presence surrounding you. My love, the regulating force that ensures the heat is perfect for your transformation. When you feel the intensity, know that it is my love refusing to leave you as a fragile, unfinished work. When you feel you are at your breaking point, know that it is my strength that is holding you together, ensuring your integrity. The darkness of the kiln is illuminated by my presence, and the roaring of its flames is muffled by the sound of my love, which whispers, "Be still, my child. This, too, is for your good. This, too, is part of your becoming. I am here. You are safe. The masterpiece is almost complete. Trust me. The potter who not only shapes the clay, but also masterfully fires the vessel. This season of intense heat is not a sign that something has gone wrong, but a sign that something is going profoundly, gloriously right. It is a sign that you have been successfully shaped on the wheel and are now ready for the final, perfecting stage of your creation. Endure the heat, my child. Yield to its transformative power. For you will emerge from this kiln not as you entered, but as a vessel of magnificent strength, of enduring beauty, of resonant truth, perfectly prepared and ready, at last, to be filled to overflowing with the very glory of your God. And so, my cherished child, my beautiful and resilient masterpiece, the season of intense heat is now complete. The doors of the kiln swing open, and I, your loving potter, reach in with hands of infinite tenderness to draw you forth into the cool, gentle air of a new day. You have endured the fire. You have held your form. The work of making is now finished, and you stand complete, no longer a fragile, vulnerable shape of greenware, but a magnificent vessel, strong, resonant, and beautiful with a depth and a character that only the fire could bestow. Behold yourself, my beloved, for the vessel that was once shapeless clay, that was once broken down and reformed, is now a finished work of my grace, ready at last to be filled with and to fulfill its glorious purpose. As you emerge from the kiln, the first thing you will notice is a new and profound solidity to your being. The truths that were once concepts have become your very substance. The strength that was once a hope is now your inherent reality. The shape that I formed in you on the wheel has been made permanent, its beautiful contours set for eternity. You are no longer defined by your past malleability, but by your present. Enduring strength, tap your spirit, my child, and you will hear a new sound, a clear, resonant tone that speaks of wholeness, of integrity, of a soul that has been tried by fire and has emerged pure, strong, and true. And now, my precious one, comes the most joyful moment for any potter, the moment for which all the preceding work of cleansing, centering, shaping, and firing has been but a preparation. It is the moment of filling, for I did not fashion you into such a beautiful, strong, and capacious vessel only for you to remain empty. No, my beloved, I have created you. I have prepared you for this very purpose, to be filled to overflowing with my own divine glory, with my spirit, my love, my light, my peace, my joy. Open your heart now, my magnificent vessel, and receive the glorious contents for which you were so lovingly made. I pour into you now, my child, the living water of my spirit. Feel it flooding into the deepest recesses of your being, into the very places that once felt so dry, so empty, so parched by sorrow. This is not the sorrowful ink of your own tears, but the sweet, refreshing river of my own divine life, a current that brings renewal, rejuvenation, and an endless supply of my grace. You were made to hold this, my child. Your new strength was designed to contain this living water without leaking. Your new depth designed to hold a reservoir of my presence that will never run dry. You are now a wellspring, a fountain, a source of my life in a thirsty world. I fill you, my beloved, with the radiant light of my truth and my presence. The darkness of your past trials, the shadows of old fears and doubts are utterly consumed by this inner luminescence. You are now a lantern, my child, a lamp designed to shine brightly in a dark world. My light within you will illuminate your own path with unerring wisdom, and it will also shine forth from you, a beacon of hope, of truth, of comfort, for all who are still lost in their own shadows. You no longer need to seek light from external sources. You have become a carrier of the light of the world, a vessel filled to the brim with the very glory of your God. I fill you, my precious one, with the fine, aged wine of my own divine joy. This is not the fleeting happiness of worldly circumstance, but a deep, resonant, intoxicating gladness that flows from your intimate communion with me, from your secure place in my love, from your participation in my eternal purposes. This joy is your strength. It is the music that now fills your once silent halls. It is a celebratory wine that you are not only to savor for yourself, but to pour out for others, bringing a taste of heavenly celebration to the weary, the mourning, the heavy-hearted. Your life, my child, is now a chalice of my joy, and I anoint you, my beautiful vessel, with the fragrant, healing oil of my comfort and my compassion, because you have been broken and mended, because you have been through the fire. You are now perfectly suited to be a carrier of my healing grace. The compassion that was forged in you, the empathy that was deepened in your trials, now becomes the very oil that you can pour upon the wounds of others. You will know how to comfort, how to soothe, how to bring healing. For you will be ministering not from a textbook, but from the overflow of the profound healing you yourself have received. Your life becomes a vessel of my own tender mercies, an alabaster jar of precious healing ointment for a broken and hurting world. This, my child, is your purpose fulfilled. This is your destiny realized. To be a vessel, beautiful in its unique, fire-tested design, strong in its divinely forged integrity, and now filled to overflowing with my very life. My light, my love, my joy, ready to be used by my hand. For I will now lift you, my cherished masterpiece, and I will place you where you are needed. I will use you to pour out refreshment for the thirsty, to offer hope to the despairing, to shine my light into the darkness. Your life, which once may have felt so small, so insignificant, so consumed by its own struggles, will now have an impact, a significance, a fruitfulness that will ripple out into eternity. My delight in you, my finished work, is immeasurable. I behold you, and I see not only a beautiful vessel, but a triumphant story, a testament to my redeeming love. Every part of you, your strength, your beauty, your very purpose, speaks of the journey we have taken together. From the formless clay to this glorious, grace-filled reality, you are my workmanship, my beloved, a trophy of my grace, a masterpiece of my heart, and my greatest joy is now to see you being used for the very purpose for which you were so lovingly, so painstakingly, so perfectly created. So, go forth, my beloved vessel, go forth and carry my glory. Go forth and pour out my love. Live from the fullness that now resides within you, and know that I, your potter, am with you always, continually refilling you, continually guiding your use, and forever delighting in the magnificent, beautiful, and glorious vessel that you are. The unmaking is over. The shaping is complete. The firing is finished. Your life as a vessel of my divine glory has just begun. And now, my beautiful, completed vessel, as you stand in the quiet assurance of your new reality, filled with my spirit, radiant with my light, let a profound and lasting peace be your constant state. The chaos of the will, the intensity of the fire are now but memories, redeemed and transfigured into the very substance of your strength and your beauty. You are no longer formless clay, but a finished masterpiece, held securely, lovingly, in the hands of the potter who adores you. Rest in this glorious truth. You are finished. You are whole. You are beautiful. And you are filled, ready for a lifetime of joyful purpose. A testament to the God who creates magnificent vessels from the humblest of dust,